themed Budget of Economic Growth and Sustainability. Over the last 3 fiscal years, the federal government has consistently ensured the review of the tax and fiscal regulations via Annual Finance Act. The Finance Act 2021 was enacted in accordance with Nigeria's policy reforms and to stimulate revenue mobilization for the purpose of budget implementation. Other key reform areas include tax administration, international taxation, financial sector reforms and tax equity and public financial management reforms. The Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS is the major driver of the Finance Act 2021 to principally and comprehensively manage financial regulations in the country. So tonight on Weekend File, our focus is on Finance Act 2021 and the task ahead of FIRS. Our guest is Olufemi Olarinde, Technical Assistant to the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS. I am Kenen Ima Abodike. Welcome. Rescue work is still ongoing at the site of the building that collapsed this evening at the Onike area of Lagos. Annie Daniels reports that only one person has been rescued so far at the moment, and he reveals the cause of the collapse. That report will come subsequently. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of senior special assistants to the office of the First Lady. They are Muhammad Sani Zoro, SSA Public Affairs and Strategy, Aisha Rimi, SSA Legal Matters, and Zaba Muhammad Jawa as personal physician. Similarly, the President has approved the immediate redeployment of 3 of the political appointees in the office of the First Lady to the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, pending their assignment to some other government departments or agencies. Those affected by the redeployment are Dr. Mohammed Kamal Abdurrahman, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Health and Development Partners and Personal Physician to the First Lady; Hadi Uba, Special Assistant to the President on Administration; and Wole Abodarin, Special Assistant to the President on Non-Governmental Organizations (NGOs). Also approved with effect from 11th February is the disengagement of Zainab Kazim, the Special Assistant to the President on Domestic and Social Events, Office of the First Lady. The Force Public Relations Officer, CP Frank Mbar, has handed over the duties and responsibilities of the Force Public Relations Department to his deputy, CSP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, who takes charge of the department with immediate effect. A statement by the Force indicates that the change of baton follows CP Mbar's nomination by the Inspector General of Police for the Senior Executive Course at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, Jos, in Plateau State. In politics, sorting and collation of ballots are ongoing in the 6 area councils of the FCT after Saturday's elections for the council chairman and councillors. Hadiza Ebune has the report.
Elections are held as scheduled by the FCT Independent National Electoral Commission. As the elections are getting to the final stage, reports from various polling units show that the process was smooth.
The process is free and fair. I've been able to vote.
For now, all we can say is that we have gone around, we have seen, there's no doubt about it, that the Viva has not performed as is expected, from the report, we have received. Yes, that is true. But what we are going to do about it is an issue. The National Commission will sit down, they will look at it. I don't know, because we have so many other elections that are coming after this one.
But with little itches from some polling units concerning the beavers, which delayed the process at the appointed time.
The card reader is not working. The card reader is not working. 20 hours. Not accepting fraud.
After election like that, some people will be provoked. Some thugs just jumped into this place, but I thank God they have chased them away.
Also, there were visible presence of security operatives, and the atmosphere has been upbeat but calm across the 6 area councils.
In some areas, you have noticed, the Viva machines are slow and maybe due to network, but we have made contact with INEC and they promise that they are going to deploy more.
Hadiza Ebune, NTA News.
The fortunes of investors in the maritime sector is about to experience a quantum leap as they are being urged to take advantage of the tariff relief granted by the federal government to attract increased patronage. Robinson Derataide reports that the managing director, MPA Mohammed Bello Koko, stated this at a media parley with journalists in Port Harcourt.
An inspection of facilities at the Port Harcourt and Onne ports in Rivers State by the management of the Nigerian Ports Authority is informed by the observed increase in cargo traffic at the Onne port, necessitating the need for the construction of some of the collapsed beds, roads, and address issues of encroachment at the eastern ports. NPA Managing Director Mohammed Koko disclosed that provision is made in the 2022 budget to construct Section D and E of the 8-kilometer-long NPA Onne Road, the collapsed beds, and the jetty at NPA Dockyard. At the Port Harcourt port, the process for the construction of about 4 collapsed beds belonging to one of the terminal operators has commenced.
There's a berth here that has collapsed. We have made budgetary provision for rehabilitation of that berth in the 2022 budget. For the road also, we have made budgetary provision for the construction of that road.
The dredging of some of the channels to address issues of draft limitations is hindered by court order at some of the ports.
We gave a tariff relief, rather, that's what you're talking about, for shipping lines and so on and so forth. We haven't seen as much positive response as we expected for multiple reasons. We have given that incentive at various port locations in the east, but there are issues related to the draft limitations along the channel. Bigger vessels cannot come in. We have to dredge those channels. One of those locations is Calabar. The reason for not dredging Calabar channel is because of a subsisting court case restraining MPA from taking any further action to dredge that channel.
The agency noticed minor stealing from containers at the Onne port and planned to increase security patrol, particularly at the porous riverbanks connecting the ports. From Onne in Rivers State, Robinson Derataide, NTA News.
Now to the National Assembly, where the Chairman, Senate and House of Representatives Committees on Aviation have unanimously declared that the usual excuses given by airline operators for frequent delays and cancellation of flight are not tenable. They were speaking to journalists after inspecting some facilities at the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, and the Accident Investigation Bureau, AIB, in Lagos. Nainrot Nina Musa reports.
Lately, there has been a series of complaints by air travelers over incessant flight delays and some cancellations without prior notice by airlines. Many travelers have had to spend several hours at airports waiting to board. Reason for the delays are never given, and when flights are announced, no apologies from airlines. Many have taken to social media to call out airlines, a development members of the aviation committees in the National Assembly say should be handled quickly.
Providing funding and keeping the industry is good, but again, one aspect which must be equally catered for is the well-being of the workers in the aviation industry.
The issue of flight delays, which is affecting businesses and a lot of so many things. We cannot take it again. We also agree that we invite all the heads of agencies and invite the airline operators.
Acting Managing Director, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, Matthew Pajo, assured that all navigational facilities across airports to aid aircraft takeoff and landing in the event of bad weather have been installed.
As a policy and as a strategy, we are fully deploying Cat 2 minimum in any airport, whether state, federal government airport, it is Cat 2 we are doing.
The Commissioner, Accident Investigation Bureau, AIB, Akin Olateru, appealed to them to hasten the passage of AIB's multi-model bill before the National Assembly. In Lagos, Nairut Nina Musa, NTA News.
The National Directorate of Employment, NDE, is strengthening the capacity of its staff across the country with modern techniques in tackling unemployment through effective policy implementation. The three-day training featured participants from the 36 states and the FCT. The training for the 17 states in the south was held in Asaba, Delta State, while Kaduna hosted participants from the 19 states in the north.
As part of its mandate, which focuses on enterprise development, skills acquisition and youth empowerment, the National Directorate of Employment has organized a three-day capacity building workshop for its staff to improve their capacity in tackling unemployment in the country. In Kaduna, Dauda Mohammed reports that the participants who were drawn from northern states and the FCT across the country were optimistic about the impact of the training in performing their duties effectively.
The essence of this workshop is to actually bring up officers of the directorate in a way that productivity will be improved upon.
This workshop have added to the strengths to carry on our job.
This workshop has increased my knowledge, and I'm sure it will increase my performance on the job.
Similarly, in Asaba, Austin Edemudu reports that the capacity building workshop held for participants drawn from southern states from across the country is to achieve the same objective.
They are going to cancel so many unemployed people. Because the federal government is ready to give them loan, you'll be able to tell them how to utilize the loan and to pay back the loan.
We help us in carrying out the mandate of ND as job creation and employment generation agency.
Unemployment is a dynamic global phenomenon. It changes in forms and patterns. Therefore, those who tackle it must also be up to date. They must up their game.
At the end of the 3 days training, these participants are expected to be the game changers who would contribute their own quota towards tackling unemployment in the country. Ruth Aguela, NT News.
The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment towards supporting the Nigerian youth to be productive through its numerous social intervention programs. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo made this known during the combined convocation ceremony of Federal University Wukari. Bem Hanya reports.
Of 3,897 individuals were awarded different classes of degrees at the second, third, fourth, and fifth combined convocation of the Federal University Wukari. Former Governor Adamu Muazu of Bauchi, Chief Innocent Chukwuma, founder of Innocent Motors, and the legal luminary Chief Damian Dodo, SAN, were awarded honorary doctoral degrees. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, while reiterating the resolve of the federal government to support initiatives that would create wealth, jobs, and opportunities, urged the youths to key into the various social investment programs of the federal government.
This year, the Nigerian Jubilee Fellows Program will begin. And every year, under the program, 20,000 young graduates who have done the National Youth Service will be given fully paid internships that will last for 12 months in reputable private and public sector organizations across the country.
Our university, like others, has a primary objective of providing our youth with education, skills and competencies to enable them become assets to our society. Key to this are the provision of first-class infrastructure, teaching and learning resources, a conducive environment that serves with adequate municipal facilities and security.
The occasion also featured the commissioning of TED Fund intervention projects from Wukari local government area of Taraba State. Bem Hanya, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Benue State Governor Samuel Otom has welcomed the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on his return from an official function in Wukari, Taraba State, and bidding farewell to Abuja. The report.
Of the governor this time through the NAV-based gate is seamless. Governor Samuel Otom, alongside some members of the State Executive Council, proceeded to the airport to welcome the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. It was a warm embrace as the duo sighted each other. The governor said the authorities of Nigeria Air Force have tendered apology for the embarrassment, which was attributed to communication gap.
It has
been resolved. Apology given and apologies accepted. So the Vice President, the President, my President and Vice President. And so the protocol requires that when they are here, I receive them and see them off. That is what I have done.
The farewell by the Vice President indicates that all is well. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Now, the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital has upgraded its operations with the inauguration of state-of-the-art facilities for enhanced service delivery. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya reports that members of the 9th University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital Management Board were on ground to inaugurate the projects.
The University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital, no doubt, remains one of the topmost teaching hospitals in Nigeria, where patients are referred to across the country for proper medical care. This perhaps informed one of the reasons why the federal government decided to upgrade some facilities and embark on capital projects in the hospital. Outside the mega eye center that was inaugurated by the management board of the university, procurement units and the world-class radiology, as well as catering center, also received attention. While some roads were unveiled within the hospital premises, foundation laying ceremony of a 500-capacity student complex and a VIP ward project were also performed.
The eye care center, for example, is something we didn't have before, and now we can provide that service. People who go abroad don't need to go abroad anymore, they can come here. So the board keep looking at opportunity to increase and enhance our services.
There are so many things in the pipeline for that we are going to do. For instance, within the next 1 or 2 weeks, CPL Medical Group is coming in to be as another PPP, and they are already coming with $1 billion CFI.
With the commissioning of this project, University of Ilorin is close to becoming a world-class tertiary health center. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NTA News.
Now let's return to our earlier reports on the rescue work at the site scene of the building that collapsed this evening. Of course, work is still ongoing there. At the moment, only one person has been rescued, one casualty and 3 more persons still trapped under the rubble. The survivor, who spoke with Annie Daniels, says the building had been showing signs of imminent collapse, and the developer insisted work should continue.
Me myself, I no go fit on am because when the house fall like this, I can't see myself like say I dey for rooms like this. So now only my neck and the hand I dey see it come jam. So I thank God myself, I no go fit know how the thing happen.
NTA News was also informed that the Lagos State Building Control Agency had instructed that work be stopped at the site after noticing the defect, but the developer ignored the instruction. 14-year-old Shah, one of the builders, escaped death by whiskers because he was sent to get an item for one of the workers.
Maybe the person will cut the decking and pillar and I do mistake because the Honda pillar no too plenty for the Honda like this. Pillar no reach 20.
Meanwhile, all concerned agencies are still carrying out rescue work on the scene. Gombe, the jewel in the savannah, has recorded another first as the state received 2 separate awards in recognition of its exceptional performance and outstanding commitment to excellence, as well as its contribution to the success of the implementation of the Pooled Fund Project Window 2. The 2 awards were presented by the National Secretariat of Civil Society, Scaling Up Nutrition in Nigeria, CS SON, through the coordinator of the project in Abuja. The CS SON coalition had completed the project with support from the National Secretariat in the areas of capacity building, health workers, staff of line MDAs, media, religious and traditional leaders on the importance of exclusive breastfeeding. Last year, Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya received the Nutrition Champion for the Nigerian Child Award by the International Society of Media in Public Health in recognition of his administration's disposition towards tackling the menace of malnutrition among children in the state. Until recently, malnutrition was a major health concern in Gombe State, with the attendant classification of the state as one with a high record of children not being able to grow to their potentials. You're watching Weekend File on the NTA Network Service. Time for break. To stay with us.
Senator Tanko Almakura, a man who believes in the philosophy of the broom. He believes that sticks of broom on their own will break. Hence, his insistence that the sticks must be brought and held together for them to serve any purpose. We saw him apply this philosophy as two-term governor of Nasarawa State. Still, as a chieftain of the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, he has been the unifying factor among all shades of party members, not just in Nasarawa State and North Central alone, but even beyond. Senator Tanko Almakura is the man APC needs to heal aggrieved hearts, to unite existing members and draw more members to the party from all nooks and crannies of the country. Senator Tanko Almakura, the broom that will unite APC and smoothly mend all cracks within the party structures at local, state and national levels. Vote Senator Tanko Almakura as the APC national chairman to give the APC the unity and fairness it needs to keep winning elections at all levels.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development cordially invites the Chairman, Senate and House Committees on matters relating to poverty alleviation, IDPs and social development, ministers, governors, heads of agencies of the ministry, international partners and donors, non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations and other relevant stakeholders to the official launch of the ministry's strategic roadmap in line with 2021 to 2025 National Development Plan of His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Theme, Mapping Out a Life of Dignity for All. Date, Monday, 14th February 2022. Venue, Banquet Hall, State House, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chairman, His Excellency, Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SANGCON. Chief Host, Sadia Umar Farouk. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Bashir Nura Al-Khali, Permanent Secretary. Announcer.
Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, invites members to the first session of 2022 Mandatory Continuing Professional Development MCPD program. Theme, Contemporary Development in Public Sector Accounting. Date is Monday, February 28 to Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. Time 9 a.m. daily. Venue, M&M Event Center, 900 Herbert Macaulay Way, beside International Conference Center, Abuja. Chief Host, Reverend Canon Professor Benjamin Chuka Osisioma, FCNA, President and Chairman of Council. Signed, Dr. Nuruddin Abba Abdullahi, MNI, FCNA, Chief Executive Officer, Announcer. ANAN, a premium brand of choice.
At the heart of your waking up and going out is your desire to succeed. This keeps you awake, running through your mind, even when bathing. At Bedmate, we understand and remain your partners in providing you durable furniture that helps you work better and introduces you as a person of good taste. That's why from 13 January to 20 February 2022, you can own items in a Sophia Office series at incredible discounts of 20% off with amazing gifts too. Hurry now to our showrooms to enjoy this limited offer like many others needing high-performance work tools to success.
There is no doubt about it. Trees and other plants are so admirable and they produce productive farmlands and water. Imagine this colossal damage. No lands, legs are gone. Houses wash away. Migration is imminent. All this as a result of desertification. We must fight desertification by planting more and more trees to save our lands and restore the glory of our agriculture. These will ensure a sustainable food sufficiency, adequate flow of water, and peace of mind. This message is from the National Agency for Great Green Wall.
Thanks for staying with us on Weekend File on the NTA. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News, Twitter at NTA News Now, and Instagram, NTA Network for updates. Government over the years has consistently ensured the review of taxes and fiscal regulations through the Finance Act to meet current realities. The 2021 Finance Act is not an exemption, as correspondent John Yaku in this report takes a look at the journey of the bill, its passage, assents and impact on the 2022 fiscal year.
On the 7th of December 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari submitted the 2021 Finance Bill to the joint session of the National Assembly to amend various tax laws in the country. The objectives of the bill are to promote fiscal equity, reform domestic tax law to align with global best practices, introduce tax incentives for investments in infrastructure and capital market, support MSMEs, and raise revenue for the government. The bill was subjected to the process of legislation, including a public hearing before passage. Some of the critical issues for amendment in the bill included capital gain tax, company income tax, Federal Inland Revenue Service, stamp duties, personal income tax, insurance tax, and value-added tax, among others.
The bills could give the government additional opportunities to improve its fiscal and regulatory framework and then grow the domestic capital market for inclusive growth and development.
Possible passage of this amendment and its faithful implementation, our country can be propelled towards appreciable economic growth.
The key point for us here is that the changes we are proposing are modest and that we can also undertake more fiscal reviews in subsequent finance bill.
Following the consideration of the report by Senate Joint Committee at plenary, the bill passed third reading and was transmitted to the President for assent.
A bill for an act to amend the relevant tax, excises and duty statutes in line with macroeconomic policy reforms of the federal government to amend and make further provisions in specific laws in connection with public financial management of the Federation and for other matters connected there with 2021 third reading taken and the bill is passed.
On the 31st of December 2021, President Buhari signed the 2021 Finance Bill alongside 2022 appropriations into law to take effect from 1st January 2022.
Revenue generation agencies and indeed all MDAs must ensure prompt and full remittance of collected revenues. All borrowings will be judiciously utilized and invested in our future growth and prosperity.
What is the essence of the act to the nation?
And basically it is used in order to achieve the principles and the goals and objectives of the budget.
What value will this Finance Act add to the 2022 budget?
Our economy has no plug. That drain, corruption. No matter the water you put in, you will not be able to bath. You will not be able to, no matter the amount of borrowing and revenue federal government raises in every budget year or year cycle, it will never be enough. It won't go anywhere because it simply drains.
In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
Our guests, Olufemi Olarinde, Technical Assistant to the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS, joins us via Zoom. Good evening to you.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for having me this evening.
Thanks indeed for joining us. Let's lay a background to our discussion tonight. Tell us what are the deficits that led to the enactment of the Finance Act vis-a-vis its impact on the 2022 national budget.
Okay, thank you very much for that question, and thank you for having me. I'm sure the Finance Act is actually not a new document or legislation in Nigeria right now. This is 3 years running already. We had the Finance Act 2019, we had the Finance Act 2020, and this is Finance Act 2021. And why? Why do we need a Finance Act? Actually, this is a provision enshrined in the National Tax Policy, which says the minister at the end of each year will present legislation that should be amended that will support, in order to support the budget. Now, Finance Act, the need for Finance Act is actually to support the budget, which is the fiscal instrument at this time around. So, government needs revenue, one, and it's not just needing revenue. Government needs to create an enabling environment for business to thrive. And one of the tools used are the tools of fiscal and tax policies. And so you need to look at, government is trying to look at the environment and see the kind of tax laws that we need to run that will support the budget appropriately. So that is why every year government need to produce a Finance Act that will also bring us our tax system in tandem with what is applicable all over the world and in reality of our time now. So that, in long and short of it, that is the essence for the Finance Act.
All right. Tell us about the critical elements involved in the Finance Act.
Okay. So, in Finance Act 2021 is looking at some themes. And the first one is for domestic revenue mobilization. It's looking at tax administration and legislative drafting. That is drafting our law to suit what is applicable all over, like I've said. Also looking at international taxation. Of course, we are all aware that we have what we call the digital economy. People doing business over the digital space. And so we also need to catch up with such businesses because now our laws over time have been developed to suit the physical marketplace. So right now we need to build our law to also be in tandem with the digital marketplace space. So that is one of these. Also, another one talks about the finance sector reforms and tax equity. So it seems as if some other businesses have their taxation is equity and fairness. So we need to study the tax environment and the business environment and ensure that our tax law provides what we call equity among businesses. Also, we have public financial management reforms. And so that's talking about every other act, like the Finance Control and Management Act. Let me quickly just give us an overview and a rundown of what the Finance Act 2021 talk about. So, like I've said, Finance Act is, when you say it's an act of it's a legislation on its own. However, it's an act. It's a piece of legislation that warehouses various laws for quick and focused amendments in order to facilitate an effective and efficient operation of the budget. So what the National Assembly and the Minister of Finance, the body that developed the Finance Act, see this year.
All right.
We have a body called the Fiscal Reforms. Okay, can I go on, please?
Let me pause you there because we have one more report that will excite the viewer right away. Let's quickly tell you that amid economic challenges brought about the effects of the pandemic, governments across board continue to evolve means of revenue generation to meet obligations to citizens. The recent one from the federal government is the 2021 Finance Act, which introduces reforms for the nation's revenue agencies to thrive. Benny Adams takes us through these efforts.
Chris Eze has been working as a mobile phone software engineer for many years and makes good money from his clients, but has never paid a dime as tax. Not because he does not want to, but because he has no idea of how to go about it or where to start from. On the other hand, Abubakar Akwanga has been on government payroll for more than 10 years. Before he receives his monthly pay, about 15,000 naira is deducted from source as tax. Abubakar is part of only 20% of people who pay tax out of more than 200 million Nigerians. As figures from Federal Inland Revenue Service show, only about 41 million out of more than 200 million are taxpayers. And 50% of the 41 million are government employees. While Abubakar Akwanga belongs to these 20% who pay tax, Chris Eze belongs to the 80% yet to be captured in the nation's tax net. A situation the tax authorities say must change.
We've also put in place a monthly revenue monitoring committee, a presidential committee that looks at all the revenues reported by the revenue generating agencies, reconciles it to the bank, the actual amounts that is shown in the bank accounts. That has helped us also to strengthen the remittances and block delays and leakages that used to happen.
Reforms that accommodate better legislation, deployment of technology, and enlightenment campaigns are some of the steps taken to change the narrative.
So what we have done now with Tax Pro Max is that we are managing the life cycle of a taxpayer using technology. Now, another aspect of what has happened again as a result of deploying Tax Pro Max is what is important to a taxpayer is when they are paid or when they issue contracts and they are paid, the payee automatically deducts withholding tax from the taxpayer and remits it to FRS. Now, receipts are issued to the taxpayer, which they then take also manually to the FRS, who then issue them a credit notes that they can use to offset their tax liability. Now, that is also automatically done.
Another development is the 2021 Finance Act, which empowers the FIRS to, among other actions, collect tax from non-resident companies making profit from providing digital goods or services to Nigerian customers under the Significant Economic Presence (SEP). On behalf of NASENI, access, collect, account, and enforce the payment of 0.25% of profit as tax from companies engaged in the business of banking, mobile telecommunication, ICT, aviation, maritime, oil and gas, with turnover of 100 million and above. More on the provisions of the 2021 Finance Act are part of issues to be discussed by guests on Weekend File. In Abuja, I am Benny Adams.
Let's rejoin Olufemi Olarinde, Technical Assistant to the Executive Chairman first. Mr. Olarinde, of course, you've seen that background. It has told us so much about what FIRST is supposed to do at the moment and what the discussion is all about. Now, tell us, it's almost 2 months since the Finance Act was signed into law. Would you now say that the economy of the nation is beginning to feel its impact?
Okay, yeah, well,
We will rejoin Larinde in the course of this bulletin. In the meantime, let's quickly go on a break. Do stay with us on Weekend File.
Hey you! 100 million naira up for grabs with your favorite Indomie noodles in the all-new I Love My Indomie promo. Grab an I Love My Indomie promo pack. Look inside the pack for a unique letter and collect all 14 letters, including the special heart, to form I Love My Indomie. Send a picture of your collection to our WhatsApp number to redeem your instant cash prize of 100,000 naira. So hurry and grab your favorite Indomie noodles now. Offer valid in selected cities only till March 31st, 2022. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition good for you.
My eggs are deep fried.
Ile siku nitai kushikana dem wewe.
You should think of getting yourself a Zade.
Your friend is really hot.
This thing of ours is over.
Hey. Oh, no, with your ship wave.
I know that in the last decade, this country has been at different wars trying to keep the peace and promote the sovereignty and the integrity of the country. The troops are doing their best. The president has given them all the necessary tools. It is left for us as young people and as Nigerians to give them all the support we can. We say kudos to all our gallant military men. Please, whenever you see a police officer in or out of uniform, if you know them, clap for them whenever they need be. Give them seats in buses and trains and airplanes. Have the airline managers reduce air tickets for them or train tickets for them. Show them that we appreciate what they do and show their families that there is something right and honorable and truly remarkable about wearing a uniform and going into the bushes and the forest to fight enemies of this country that are hell-bent in bringing your life to an end. It's a very tough time, but we have to all put our hands together. Please support our troops and support our police officers.
You're watching Weekend File on the NTA. Let's quickly rejoin Olufemi Olarinde, Technical Assistant to the Executive Chairman first. Mr. Olarinde, before that break, we wanted to know if the economy of the nation has begun to feel the impact of the Finance Act 2021, almost 2 months since it became law.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that break. Actually, like I was saying, the first set of returns that the expirers is expecting, that we taxpayers are expected to file in the year 2021, is supposed to be by the 21st of February, because that is VAT for January. So some of these rules that we're going to be expecting, we need to wait a bit, because the law commences from the 1st of January 2021. Now, when it comes to the issue of the income tax, we may need to wait a bit later too. However, you are aware that last year, the collection of FRS exceeded all what we've collected over the years. And so while still trying to consolidate on that success, we have started, of course, discussing with taxpayers and how the reform for this year is going to go through. So right now, it's still time. It's like a foundation. We're still laying the foundation for the year. Nigerians and you may need to wait a bit before we start announcing our success for the year.
Okay, first is a major driver of the Finance Act 2021. Any challenges so far in achieving your mandate?
Well, we will say, as when say major driver, yes, we are a major contributor as the #1 tax administrator in Nigeria. Yes, definitely, we have some contribution. We won't say there's any major, there's any challenge for now. This is a law of Nigeria, and it's expected to be implemented to the later. We've started contacting taxpayers. We've started conducting awareness. Aside from us conducting awareness, many other players in the industry have been conducting awareness. We've received different inquiries. We started receiving inquiries on some who want to get clarification on the provision of the law, on how they will implement. And we are hopeful that there will be no much problem. However, if there are issues, there are systems that are placed how to stick with this. And get everything done as it should be. But we are hopeful that Nigerians being law-abiding citizens will comply with the provisions of the law. And we are going to also implement it as the law has asked us to do. Thank you.
Okay, from every indication, a larger percentage of the populace have not been captured in the tax net. What is FIRS doing to ensure that this is accomplished?
Okay, so like I said, one of the reasons why the Finance Act was enacted is to also bring our tax law in tandem with what is applicable. Now, how is FRS tackling it? We are going digitization. We believe that automation of the tax administration system makes it more transparent and make it more easy to comply with. So voluntary compliance, we also understand from the taxpayer's angle, maybe what it costs them to comply with the law, or what is the problem with complying with the law. So we are automating fully, and we have said, the FRS chairman has said that it's going towards 100% automation. And when it is automated fully, it makes it easy for even taxpayers to comply. So, and when we talk about how many people are on the tax net, so when you are automating, you easily get information. So, one of the reasons, one of the provision of Finance Act is that taxpayers doing business will actually connect to FRS. FRS will connect to their system. And when FRS connects to their system, you have visibility to business transactions. And when business transactions, you see both what they do with also their clients. So it gives government opportunity to be able to bring as many more people into the tax net. And because you see who they are dealing with, whether local or internationally, and you can follow up from there. So this is one thing. We are following it with digitization of the tax environment, and that should solve that problem. Thank you.
Okay, Olufemi Olarinde, the Finance Act brought about some amendments to the FIRS. Why was that, and how would that play out?
Okay, let me first start from where I stopped, which is Section 25 of the FRS Establishment Act. So, sometime last year, the Finance Act 2020, the law was amended to allow FRS to deploy automation for digitization of tax administration system. So there was a restriction to the type of technology FRS could deploy. So one of the provisions of this year is to allow FRS to deploy even more technology, which are third-party technology, which are certified. So FRS is going to be expanding its automation this year. So that is one of the reasons. And number two, there's a major provision, which is the Section 68 of the FRS Establishment Act. Taxpayers have complained that they get so many government agencies coming around to review tax issues. And so they wanted to be clear who actually has a mandate to review tax issues when it comes to about investigation or audit of tax matters. So the law is now saying, any government agency who in the course of their business finds out any tax issues, it should report same to the FRS.
Well, we'd like to appreciate Olufemi Olarinde, Technical Assistant to the Executive Chairman FIRS, for his submission on Weekend File tonight. Of course, it's time for our third break. Do stay with us on the program.
Hey you, 100 million naira up for grabs with your favorite Indomie noodles in the all-new I Love My Indomie promo. Grab an I Love My Indomie promo pack. Look inside the pack for a unique letter and collect all 14 letters, including the special heart, to form I Love My Indomie. Send a picture of your collection to our WhatsApp number to redeem your instant cash prize of 100,000 naira. So hurry and grab your favorite Indomie noodles now. Offer valid in selected cities only till March 31st, 2022. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
judges of Nigerian Idol Season 7 are ready. The stage is set, and now it's time for you to impress.
Nigerian Idol Season 7, showing every Sunday on Africa Magic Urban and Family. Proudly sponsored by Biggie Drinks, Nigeria's favorite, and Binance. Exchange the world.
Mr. Olufemi Olarinde, Technical Assistant to the Executive Chairman. First, we'd like to appreciate you for your submissions tonight on Weekend Fire. Thanks indeed.
Thank you very much. I also appreciate your inviting me.
Of course. Sports update is next.
Tornadoes played a 1-1 draw. Katsina beat Kwara United by 1-0. Rivers United thrashed Wiki Tories by 3-0. In the English Premier League, Saturday match results shows that Manchester United and Southampton played a 1-1 draw. Brighton beat Watford 2-0 away. Everton beat Leeds by 3-0. Brentford and Crystal Palace played a goalless draw. Nigeria's women's basketball team, the D Tigresses, increased their chances of qualifying for the FIBA Women's World Cup after beating their French counterparts 67-65 in their second Group B match at the ongoing FIBA Women's World Cup qualifiers in Serbia on Friday night. The D Tigresses will now take on their Malian counterparts on Sunday in their last group match. Ahead of the Super Eagles and the Black Stars of Ghana Qatar 2022 World Cup playoffs, President of the Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, has confirmed that Odion Ighalo will be back for the World Cup playoffs in March. Ighalo was included in Nigeria's 2021 AFCON squad after coming out of retirement, but could not make the team due to club engagement. However, Pinnick confirmed that the 32-year-old striker will be back for the two massive games against the Black Stars of Ghana. The NFF president confirmed Ighalo's commitment to the Super Eagles after visiting Ighalo in Saudi Arabia during the FIFA World Club competition. As the Super Falcons count down to their African Women Championship qualifiers against the Lady Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire on 18 February, more players have been arriving in the Falcons camp in Abuja. The latest arrivals are Nicole Payne and Regina Otu, who said they are ready to contribute their own quota to ensure victory for the Super Falcons.
Happy to be here and I'm excited to be here. I hope the matches go well. I think we all will do well. We're going to fight to get 2 great wins, and again, I'm excited to be here.
Hopefully, we pray that we do better and hope we win the 2 games coming up.
With Sports Update, Gift George, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed deep shock on the death of Hassan Dambaba Marafar, Magajin Garin Sokoto, and grandson of the late Premier of Northern Nigeria, Sir Ahmadu Bello Sarudona Sokoto. The president said, and I quote, "I am shocked beyond words. The Magajin Garin leaves a void that will be difficult to fill in the Sultanate and our nation. He was always full of happiness and warmth. He will be remembered as an envoy of the culture and traditions of the Sultanate. My prayers and thoughts are with the family he left behind, the government and the people of Sokoto State," unquote. In the meantime, the remains of the late 13th Magajin Garin Sokoto, Alhaji Hassan Ahmad Dambaba, have been laid to rest in Sokoto. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports that personalities from all walks of life gathered at the Sultan Bello Jumaat Mosque, Sokoto, for the funeral prayer.
Of the Sokoto Caliphate kingmakers and the grandson of late Premier of the Northern Region, Sardauna of Sokoto, late Magajin Garin Sokoto Alhaji Hassan Ahmad Dambaba, died in Kaduna following a brief illness at the age of 51. His funeral, led by the Chief Imam of Sultan Bello Jumaat Mosque, Sokoto, Imam Malami Akora, had in attendance Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar and his council members, Governor of Sokoto State Aminu Waziri Tambol, Governor of Kaduna State Malam Nasiru El Rufai, and the Governor of Kebbi State Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu. The late Magajin Garin Sokoto is the son of the eldest daughter of the late Sardauna of Sokoto, Haja Aishatu, who died about a year ago. He was, in April 2020, appointed part-time chairman of the governing board of Sokoto Lima River Basin Development Authority. He was the chairman of the Stonehenge Hotels Kaduna and a non-executive director of This Day Newspapers Company Limited. The senior title holder in the Sultanate Council, late Magajin Garin Sokoto, is survived by 3 wives and 6 children. In Sokoto, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Weather forecast for Sunday is next.
Glad to have you join us. We expect improvement in visibility over the northern parts of the country by Sunday, as dust haze condition in good visibility is expected over the region. Moderate dust haze condition with visibility of 2 to 5 kilometers is expected over the central region, down to the inland cities of the south, while patches of cloud with hazy atmosphere is expected over the coastal cities in the morning hours, with prospect of evening thundery showers over parts of Lagos, Ogun, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Cross River. That's where we conclude the weather forecast. I'm Sefia Senginusa.
And that's Weekend File on the NTA. Thanks indeed for watching. Do be a star with the NTA. Support the fight against rape and rapists. I am Kenan Ima Aburikem. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, it's very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you. And you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Candidates who are interested in gaining admission into NTA TV College, JOS, for the 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are to apply for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB. Courses available for application include Film and Television Production, Broadcast Journalism, and Television Engineering Technology. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects including English language and mathematics. For inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. Management Announcer.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the state.